Can I interject and just kind of like he had my youngest gave me a question the other day because I had another supply of handmade journals. This guy from Serbia makes them for me, and they came by way of FedEx, and he was like, "What's in these, Dad?" And I said, "They're journals. They're my new journals for the stuff I keep record of." And he's like, "What made you want to start doing that?" I said, "Watching an old man can't remember his own name, couldn't remember his wife's name, or recognize his own son. And that fear, I don't ever want to have that experience. Like, I don't ever want to have that. So it motivated me to record things. And that way I have a record of memories. I have something that I can relive. And I can tell you, I've always had this ability to retain things. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's photographic. I'm not about to say that at all. But whenever I have conversations with people, um, if there's someone that's open-minded and they're wanting to have a wonderful, engaging conversation, they hear me talk and they say, "Wow, like you have a really great imagination." And I've also had conversations where trolls have listened to those conversations and they've said, "See, this is how you know it's fabricated because he's got really a lot of details. That's usually the telltale sign that he's making this stuff up." Well, that's a lot of work to keep track of all those things that keep, if I'm making it up, that's a lot of details to keep track of. I don't think it's possible for someone to lie that much and keep track of everything. It's just too difficult. But I can tell you moments in my life where in trading, before trading, while trading, when I lost a lot of money in trading, all these things, I have encapsulated them. And I have the unique perspective of reliving them in a way a lot of people don't. Because think about the first moment. Well, think about it like this. Think about your first kiss. Think about what that was like. Do you remember the smells? Do you remember what they were wearing? Do you remember what you were wearing? Do you remember what happened right before that moment, before you knew that kiss was about to take place? What was the last thought in your mind before you did that? I have that recorded. I have that. Checkermint gum was what she had on her tongue, and I remember tasting that. That, I have that. You probably don't. You probably don't care as a man. But to me, I can relive that anytime I want. Pick a journal up, open it up, any date, boom, there it is. I have that ability to do that. And it transforms this local, maybe boring moment in my life that I'm living in, or if I'm going through a period of depression because something's happened in a family member and I lost them and I can't reach them anymore because they've moved on. I replace it with something positive. And I go into a journal in a year when I know that took place, and I thumb through to the date and I find it because I do a title of the things that, kind of like when I title my spaces, it helps me remember things. So my son asked me, he said, what got you into it? I said, I don't want to forget good things. And if it's good enough for me to want to remember it, I want to be able to pass it on to all of you. I want you to experience it better than reading someone write a novel that's fiction. This is my life. Like I have photographs of sunrises and sunsets that are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But if I was just to show you and say, "Hey, look at this," big deal, dude. I see the sun every day. But I can tell you what I was thinking about when that happened and what I was praying about when I was looking at it and being thankful for it. What I learned, and this is what you're actually doing as a journalist, you're taking things in your life and you're becoming an alchemist. As a trader, you're an alchemist. You're handling fear. You're handling greed. You're handling excitement. You're handling insecurity. And you're placing them through a process of transmutation and you're turning them into success. You're turning them into power, something that's noteworthy. You're turning them into blessings that you now have the ability, once you transform them in your own hands, you're taking something that's scary that most people can't do. You're taking something with a little bit of money, turning into a lot of money. You're an alchemist. And you're keeping track of all of these transmutations, of taking things that everybody has, these things, they're stresses, these problems that you have solutions to, that most people throw their hands up and say, "That's it, I need a bottle to drink from." The answer's at the bottom of that bottle. And I'm going to keep drinking until I get to the bottom of it. and you find yourself in a deeper problem. You self-medicate. You do poor decision making, and you go out and you mess around outside your relationship because you can't figure it out. You distract yourself. You're an alchemist there too. You're taking good things, good health, good relationships, a small setback, and what do you turn it into? A mess. And I watched my family members do that. And I said, I wasn't going to do that. I'm going to have the same problems they had. I have to start as a working person. I have to develop skill sets to help me make money when I'm not awake. And I'm going to record the process. I'm going to record the journey. I'm going to overcome the problems that's presented to me because I'm an alchemist. All of my best journals that are not trade related, they all have the transmutation emblem on the cover of it. They cost a lot of money because they're handmade. And I record these things, these experiences, because I am very much like a wizard, because I'm taking what everybody else has at their disposal, and I'm bending them and I'm contorting them and I'm placing them through a process, and they yield to me an outcome that's favorable. And I can take that outcome that's favorable and profitable, and I can place that in somebody else's hands and bless them. It's not witchcraft. It's not sorcery. It's me being an effective human being.